Great. So land in a comfortable seated position. Find your space here. Sitting nice and tall, nice, long, tall spine. Maybe bringing shoulders up and back. And just settling in, finding our space for today. Letting go of anything that came before this morning or this week. Just landing here for our practice together today. And if it feels comfortable, closing your eyes or simply gazing loosely at nothing at all. And today's focus is going to be simple, but simple doesn't always mean easy. But our focus is going to be on our breath. So to begin by just noticing your own breath without judgment, without trying to control it in any way yet. Just notice. Notice if your breath is fast or slow. Notice the intensity. Notice the temperature, how it feels as the air enters your nose. Notice without intentionally controlling it where you're breathing. Are you breathing deeply into your belly? Or right now, is it more shallow in your throat and in your chest? Again, no judgment here. We're just noticing, observing, practicing being observers of our own experience. And just making note. Taking in the data, noting it, then moving on. And starting to bring more intention and attention to your breath. And maybe one hand comes to belly, one hand comes to chest. And breathe in through your nose and filling your belly so you can feel that hand, if it's on your belly, expanding out. And then thinking about filling up so your chest rises as well. And then pausing for a moment and opening your mouth and just letting it all out, maybe with a sigh. Just letting go of everything. And again, inhaling, really focusing on filling that belly, feeling your chest rise, really filling your whole being with that breath. And then pausing, opening your mouth, and letting it all out. Same again, but this time we'll invite our exhale to be through our nose as well. So inhale through your nose, really filling up with air, feeling your whole body expanding. And then on your exhale, exhaling it all out through your nose. Again, inhaling, filling up, and then exhaling through the nose. Maybe you can constrict your throat a bit so you feel that almost like ocean sound as you breathe out, that nice loud exhale. Inhaling, pause at the top, and then through your nose, exhale. And one more time that way. Inhale, filling up, pausing, and then through your nose, exhale. Maybe dropping hands to knees. And we'll do a couple more breaths. This time we'll have a pause on each side. So if it feels good, continuing to breathe both in and out through the nose. And then together we inhale and then pause, exhale, pause. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. And now returning to your own breath and letting it happen as it does. And just noticing, not trying to control it anymore, not trying to regulate the inhales and exhales. Just breathing as feels comfortable in this moment. But just trying to make sure that you are inhaling and filling up with that breath. So not a shallow breath, but a nice, deep, energizing, reinvigorating breath. Really breathing that energy into your whole being, your whole body. And carrying that energizing breath throughout our practice today. And then as you're ready, you can blink eyes open if they're closed. And we'll start to invite connection of movement to our breath. And we will continue that through our whole practice. So what I want you to focus on today is really thinking about your breath in every pose and making sure that you're intentionally breathing. Whether it's in a pose where we're perhaps restful and holding for some time, or if it's in a challenging pose where we're moving or balancing, noticing your breath, breathing intentionally, and just noticing the nature of your breath as you move through different positions throughout our practice. So together we start to invite in some of that movement and connect it to our breath. So inhaling, we bring our arms up overhead, reaching nice and tall. And exhaling, hands come to heart center. And we continue to flow in that way. Inhaling up, reaching nice and tall. And exhaling, hands to heart center. And two more like this. Inhaling up, reaching tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. And once more, inhaling up. And exhaling, heart center. And this time, inhaling back up, and we come to our twist. So twisting to the right, left hand comes to right knee, your right hand grabs onto the chair behind you or props behind you on the mat. And on your inhale, you're focusing on lifting up. So inhale, focus on a nice, long, tall spine. And then on the exhale, focusing on the twist. And you can bring your head to look over that back shoulder. But if that feels like too much of a twist for today or for this moment, you can just have your head forward. And staying connected to and noticing your breath as you continue to lengthen on the inhale and twist on the exhale. And now for the last couple breaths in this form, maybe if you have your head back, just bringing it over the opposite shoulder. So looking over the front shoulder, and just to notice how that may feel a little different. And then on your next inhale, inhale carries the arms back up, reaching tall. And then exhale comes to the other side. So right hand to left knee, left hand behind you. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist. Head maybe over the back shoulder. And staying connected to breath. Inhale lengthens, and exhale brings us into the twist. And then from here, if you have your head looking backwards, maybe for the last couple breaths, bringing it over the front shoulder. And then an inhale brings us up. And then hands through heart center and release. Landing hands, maybe on your knees or on the mat next to you, and just doing some shoulder circles up and back. And then maybe taking it in the other direction, forward. And maybe some circles with the wrists, one direction. And then the other direction. And then inhaling back up one more time. Dropping the right hand down and then just curving over with the left. So we're bending over towards the left. Nice stretch of the side. And then inhale brings you back up to center. And then other side, so dropping left hand down. Nice stretch. Right hand lifts up and over. And let's do one more each side there. So inhaling back to center. Dropping right hand. Reaching up and to the right. Back to center. Dropping left hand and reaching up and to the left. Back to center and then release. Landing for a moment, reconnecting with your breath, your inhale and exhale. In through the nose and out through the nose. And then as you're ready, making your way to your tabletop position. So swinging legs around and landing with wrists below your shoulders, knees below your hips. And then just starting out with our cat-cow flow. So on an inhale, dropping belly, raising your chest, raising hips, and then flowing with your own breath. Exhale, arches the back. And just continue to flow in that way. Following your own breath. Your shoulders really stay over your wrists, your hips over your knees. It's just your spine that's flowing. It may be quick, it may be slow. It all depends on the rate of your breath. And maybe try both ways and see how it feels. A little quicker breath or a little slower, maybe exaggeratedly slow, and just notice. And then if you like, you can invite in additional movement, maybe some curves side to side, making like a C with your spine, both sides. Or maybe you make some circles with your hips or figure eights. Or maybe you stick right with the cat and cow. But feel free to be playful as well. As long as you continue to breathe, that is the most important piece. And then when you're ready, landing back in your tabletop, and we'll come to our balance. So from here, we inhale the right hand forward, and then our left leg comes back. It can land on toes, on your tiptoes, or you can invite that back leg to lift up and then come back down. Other side. So left arm comes forward, right leg comes back, can land on your toes. Maybe it lifts. And then back down. Back to our first side, and remembering to stay connected to breath. So not holding breath, but breathing deeply through all of these postures. One more breath here. Inhale and exhale. Landing back down. And then to the other side, left arm, right leg. Maybe it lifts. Staying connected to your breath. Landing. And we'll do it one more time each side with the option of the little crunch in the middle. So right hand comes up, left leg comes back, maybe land on toes, maybe it invites a lift, and maybe elbow and knee come to meet underneath, lengthening back out to straight, and then landing. And then from here, the final side, left arm, right leg landing on toes. Maybe it lifts. Maybe knee and elbow meet underneath. Lengthening back out to straight. And then landing. Here, taking a nice inhale and exhale. And then pushing back into your child's pose. So toes come to meet, knees come as close or as far apart as feels good, hands forward, and you come down to your child's pose. You can always land your forehead on a block or a pillow if that feels better. And as you're here, just noticing your breath, checking in with breath. Again, noticing how fast or slow, perhaps deep or shallow. Just connecting and practice noticing the nature of your breath in this very moment. Then as you're ready, no rush, but making your way back up. Tabletop position. And we'll work on opening our shoulders here. So we'll do thread the needle.
And we'll flow 2 times and then land the third. So starting with our right arm, inhale, carries our right arm up to the sky. And then exhale, threads it through. Inhale up. Exhale through. Inhale up. Exhale, threads through. And you can land here, shoulder, cheek to the mat. And that left hand can stay right next to you. Or maybe it wraps around, lands on your lower back. And staying here for a moment, connecting to your breath, intentionally focusing on that inhale and exhale. And then when you're ready, it's the inhale that carries your right arm back up to the sky and then lands. And then of course our other side. So inhale brings our left arm up. Exhale, threads through. Inhale, reaches up. Exhale, threads through. Inhale, reaches up. Exhale, threads through and lands. Maybe right hand stays right next to you. Maybe it wraps up and around, landing on your lower back. Staying connected to breath. And then as you're ready, using that inhale to lift that left arm up to the sky and then landing again on the mat. And from here, pushing back to a child's pose. Maybe focusing on taking active arms here. So see what it feels like if you really engage and push into your palms as you're in the child's pose. Really activating through your arms. So a restful but active pose. And then as you're ready, making your way back up to your tabletop, and then through tabletop to come to a standing position at the top of your mat. So we meet together here at the top of our mat, focusing on building a strong foundation, a strong mountain pose. Rooting down through the feet, really feeling into all 4 corners of our feet so we can really feel the mat or the floor under our feet. And then focusing on having really engaged legs. So thinking about your lower legs, pulling your calves, all your muscles into the bone. Same thing for your thighs, really engaging, lifting up your knees, pulling your thigh muscles into the bone, thinking about pulling your legs up into your hips, pulling your belly button towards your spine, working from the ground up, and then maybe up, back and down with your shoulders. Nice, tall, strong, firmly rooted mountain pose. And then from here, we'll flow, do a little sun salutation. So inhaling, arms come up, reaching tall, exhale, folding forward. Inhale to lift up halfway, hands land on thighs or calves, nice flat back. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale to rise, pushing down through your feet, reaching tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. And then we'll do that again, but this time we'll add the little twist. So inhaling up, reaching nice and tall. Exhale, left arm comes forward, right arm comes back. So twisting to the right. Inhale back to center, both arms reaching tall. Then exhale, opposite direction, right hand forward, left hand back. Inhaling up, nice and tall. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rooting down, pushing through your feet, reaching tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. And then we'll flow 2 more times, and I'll lead us one more, and then the third one, I won't cue, and we'll just flow together. Inhaling, reaching tall. Exhale, twist, left arm forward. Inhale, reaching tall. Exhale, twist. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rooting to rise up. And exhale, hands to heart center. We'll do it one more time, flowing with your own breath. And if you forget, just do whatever feels good and flow in your own way. There's absolutely no right or wrong way to do this. So beginning with our inhale. And when you're done, just connecting with your breath, taking an intentional breath here. And then releasing your hands as we prepare to come into our warrior series. So focusing on strength and focus. Maybe bringing hands to hips to start. And from the top of your mat, stepping back with your right foot and setting up your pose. So back foot is at a bit of an angle. Front foot is nice and straight. Feet are far enough apart in both directions, width and length. And then bending into that front leg. And just for a moment, just feeling and seeing where you may need to adjust, move feet a bit, switch up the angle of your feet. It should feel stable and comfortable. And then when you find your spot, back leg is straight, front leg is bent, both hips facing forward. Then we inhale our arms up, warrior one. Staying connected to your breath. Inhale and exhale. And then an inhale opens you up into warrior two. So back arm comes back, front arm comes forward. Back leg is still straight, front leg bent. Check that back arm. Is it where you think it is? Nice and straight out of the shoulder. And then your eyes, your focus is over that front middle finger. And as always through the series, if it feels like too much and you need a little break, you can always straighten the leg and then come back in. Then from here, we flip that front hand and drop our back arm, reverse warrior. So reaching up and back with that front hand. Remembering to breathe throughout, staying connected to breath. And then from here, inhale brings us back, warrior two. Again, remembering to breathe. Most important thing, stay connected to the breath. Then side angle forearm comes to that front bent leg. And then inhale, windmill that top arm up. So you have a nice long line from your fingers down through that straight leg. And then inhale, lifts you back up to your warrior two. One last gaze over that front middle finger. Nice strong inhale and exhale. And then hands to hips, stepping back to the front of your mat. And then just landing for a moment, reconnecting with breath, noticing your breath, noticing maybe it's a little faster or perhaps a little more shallow in this moment because we've been working hard. That's a challenging pose. The most important thing we can do through our warrior series is practice breathing. Because it's a challenging pose, that's when we perhaps have a tendency to hold our breath, hold on to our breath. But by practicing in controlled poses and forms like this, then we have the skill to use our breath when we face challenging moments in real life. That tool is there for us. So we're practicing, we're training, breath training. So as you're ready, maybe hands to hips, and we bring it to the other side. So stepping back with the left foot, setting yourself up, checking the ankles of your feet. Back leg is straight, front leg is bent. Knees over the ankle, both hips are forward. And then when you're ready, inhaling arms up, warrior one. And again, all through this, staying connected to breath. Breath warriors. We're like breath Jedi, practicing our breathing. And then from here, inhale opens you up to warrior two. So back arm is straight back from your shoulder, front arm straight forward, hips now are both kind of out to the side. Your eyes are over that front middle finger. Back leg is straight, front leg bent. Staying connected to that breath. And then flipping that front hand, dropping your back arm, reverse our warrior. Reaching up and back, keeping the bend in the front leg, straight back leg. Staying connected to your breath. And maybe even smiling. And then inhale brings us back to warrior two. And then to our side angles. So forearm to front bent leg, windmilling that top arm up. Nice long line through your whole body. Continuing to breathe. Your inhale and exhale. Then inhale, lifts you up, warrior two. One last breath here. Inhale, exhale. hands to hips, and then stepping forward. And again, breathing. Coming to our breath here, checking back in, noticing breath. And as we reconnect to our breath, we know what comes next. We move into our balancing series, another place where breath is so important. So as always, we'll start with our tree pose. So rooting down nice solidly through that left leg, inviting lightness to the right leg, and it can land, your foot can land wherever it's going to land for today. Kickstand, lower leg, upper leg, just not on the knee. Inhaling, hands to heart center. And just checking in and noticing where your tree is today. Is it wobbly? Is it flowing? Maybe the tree grows. This week we certainly saw how much trees can flow and move, and sometimes they break. You know, Wednesday night I couldn't get back into my driveway after coming back from class because big tree down. And then back through center and release. And then of course our other side. So rooting down through the right, finding where the left is going to land today. Hands to heart center. Noticing how strongly rooted you can be. Maybe it grows. But also knowing that we never have stillness, even when it's calm, even when there's little wind, there's always still movement. Trees are flowing. There's never such a thing as perfect balance. We're always making slight adjustments. We're always flowing in some way. Back through heart center, and then release. Just staying connected with our breath. And then the next piece of our balancing series. And again, you can have a chair in front of you or next to you to help with this, a nice wall, maybe a convenient radiator like I have. Whatever's near you, you can have to help balance through this. And you can do as much or as little of this series that we've been building. But let's try it together. Again, starting with a nice, strong foundation, rooted through both feet, standing tall. And then inhaling, lifting up that right leg. So the bent knee, you can hold on to the knee with one or two hands, or you can just have hands to the side, whatever feels good. And throughout all of this, if you wobble or fall out, perfectly fine, just come back in, give it another shot. Maybe open that leg out to the side. Coming back to center. You can stay right here with the bent leg, or you could try to straighten that leg, either holding onto it or just straightening it out in front of you. And then from there, we swing it back into our airplane. So from that front, swinging the leg back, your body comes down forward. Arms come up and out to the side like airplane wings. So body is coming down forward, leg is up. If your plane is having a lot of turbulence, that's okay. Just keep trying. If you fall out, just come back in. And then when you're ready, bringing it in for a landing. Bringing that foot down, body up. And then coming to a nice tall position. Connecting again with your breath. The inhale and exhale. And letting go of what happened previously and coming into the fresh start on a new side. Rooting down through the right, inviting that left leg up. Bent knee. And then it comes out to the side. You can have the right hand out for counterbalance. Bringing it back to center. Maybe the leg straightens out in front. And then from there, it swings back. So coming into your airplane, back leg comes up and body comes forward, arms out to the side like airplane wings. Thinking of aiming for like a T with your body. And then when you're ready, bringing the airplane in for landing. Coming back to a nice tall mountain pose. Reconnecting with your breath, the inhale and exhale. And one more together, inhale and exhale. And then making your way back down to your mat into a seated position. Legs out nice and straight in front. And we're going to do our forward fold. So if you have a strap or a belt or a towel, you can use that and wrap it around your soles of your feet. And as you come into this pose, you want to come forward, but with as straight a back as possible and leading with your chest. So you're going to come forward with that straight back, bending forward. So you may not come down very far at all. And if it feels comfortable, you can invite your eyes to close or just gazing loosely at focusing on nothing in particular in front of you. But sometimes here it helps to shut off that extra sense, and it allows you to open up more into the fold, into the pose. So leaning forward with a nice tall back, leading with your chest, and just staying connected to your breath here. Allowing yourself to release into this forward fold. And as you breathe, as you inhale through your nose, fill your belly, fill your chest, and exhale through your nose. Notice how you might move slightly in and out of the pose. You inhale and fill up, maybe you come up a little bit, and then as you exhale, maybe you're able to come a little further into the pose. And it might be a little micro, barely noticeable movement, but just notice. And then when you're ready, on your inhale, dropping your head and then rolling up one vertebra at a time, slowly coming back to a seated position with your head being the last to come up. And then coming to a comfortable seat. Maybe it's a crisscross applesauce seat, sitting nice and tall. And we're going to do our eagle arms. So inhaling, arms up, and then exhale, right arm comes under left, and there are a few options here. You can do elbow to elbow, palm to palm like this, or you can wrap right arm under and then have back of the palms touching, or you can go full twist, right arm under left, and then get all twisty. and focusing on lifting your elbows so they're higher, they're kind of towards shoulder height. Keeping a nice tall spine and staying connected to your breath, remembering to breathe. And then releasing, arms come back up, reaching tall, and then other side, so left arm over right. So either elbow to elbow, palm to palm, or left arm under, back of palm to back of palm, or left arm under, full twist. Lifting elbows up. Keeping shoulders kind of down and back. This may feel like a good opening or stretch through your shoulders. Staying connected to your breath. And then on an inhale, releasing, reaching tall, and then releasing hands. Taking another breath, inhale and exhale. And then taking your time to come to lying down on your mat. So we lie down on our mat, feet on the mat, knees pointed up towards the ceiling. And then to begin, we cross our right ankle up onto that left thigh. And we can stay right here with this stretch, or maybe your hands wrap around that left thigh. Legs coming in towards chest. Both feet are flexed. Dropping your shoulders down into the mat. You don't want your shoulders curling up, or you don't want them all hunched up towards your ears. Just releasing them into the mat. Feet flexed. And hugging both knees into your chest, giving yourself a hug, maybe a little rock side to side, or a little circle of your knees, one direction and the next. And then landing feet on your mat, on the floor, and then taking it to the other side. So left ankle up over under right thigh, staying right here, or hands reach through, grabbing that right thigh, legs in towards chest, both feet flexed. Shoulders releasing down into the mat. And then hugging both knees in. Again, maybe rocking or circles. And then we're going to come to our inversion. So dropping feet to the mat. And if you want to use a prop here, you can, a pillow, a block or 2 blocks. So if you're going to use a prop, grab your prop, push into your feet, lift your hips, put your prop underneath your hips, land your hips, and then lifting your legs up into the air. You can certainly do this without a prop too, just lifting your legs. And staying connected to your breath, breathing intentionally. Allowing yourself a few moments here. It's a great stress reducing pose. And it's not often throughout our day that we have our feet above our hearts, so it's good to do this once in a while. You can also, if you have a chair, rest your legs on the chair or on a bed, with bent legs. Or just sitting them straight up. And then when you're ready, landing, if you have a prop, feet land on the mat, pushing hips up, pulling that prop out, landing hips down again, and then bringing the soles of your feet together and letting your knees fall out. Just kind of flop out to the side. Breathing intentionally. Staying connected to breath. Then when you're ready, hugging knees into chest. And then dropping both knees over to the right side. You may need to scoot your hips a little bit to the left, but both knees falling to the right. You can also put a pillow either under the hips as they fall to the side, or put a pillow between the two legs as your knees fall to the side. Your arms come out like a T from each side. And then maybe inviting your eyes to look over the left shoulder. So your head is facing in the opposite direction as your knees. But if that feels like too much of a twist for today, then you can just keep your head in the same direction as your knees. And then as you're ready, hugging knees back through center, and then dropping them to the other side. Arms stay in a T, and maybe your eyes come to look over the right shoulder. And then as you're ready, no rush, hugging both your knees in, giving yourself a nice big hug, maybe a rock side to side or some circles with the knee. And maybe taking a full body stretch, so arms go up overhead, legs go out straight, nice big stretch. And then from here, if you want, we can build our restorative heart opener. So bringing pillows, props behind you. to the base of your spine, making a nice big stack, and then coming to lie back on that. And just adjusting those pillows until it feels comfortable. Arms out to the side, palms up. And then here you can either have your legs straight out, kind of to the sides of your mat, feet falling open, or if it feels comfortable for you, you can always invite soles of the feet to meet and knees to fall open. But you should feel comfortable and restful. The heart is open here. Notice how that impacts your breath. And if this doesn't feel good today, or if it shifts at any time, just roll to the side and come to just lying on your back on the mat for our final meditation and relaxation. Feet fall open. You can also try lying on the belly or having a seated meditation. But coming into this restful pose, integrating all of the work that you have done today, being with your breath. And as you rest here, begin to open your awareness to the movement of your breath. Not the thought of breath, but the movement, the sensations of breath, that point of contact where the breath touches and moves the body. There is an experience of breathing that you can know directly. The breath is the body's most intimate and constant companion. Notice where the inhale stretches or expands the body, and where the exhale collapses the body. Experience the sensations of the movement of the breath inside the body. Taking your time, allow yourself to know the stillness of the body and the movement of the breath. Place your awareness on the exhale, riding the sensation of the exhale. Feel the settling and the ease that is the nature of letting go. Next, begin to experience the fullness of the inhale, then the exhale, and then the pauses at both ends. There is no need to manipulate the breath. Just notice what it's like to breathe, the experience of breathing. For example, where do you experience the rise and the fall of the breath in the body? In the abdomen, the chest, the tip of your nostrils? Give your full attention to this thing we call breathing. What is the quality of the breath? Is it fast, like a soft breeze? Or is it like choppy wind? Is it faint? Are you holding the breath? Is it warm or cool? Is the inhale different from the exhale? Is it short or long? Be curious about how the breath is moving through the stillness of your body. Notice that the body is still while the breath is moving. Both experiences are happening together. You are still while still moving.
And then bringing intention to that breath. Deepen and expand the inhale and exhale. Breathing intentionally, deeply. Perhaps starting to bring movement to the body, the fingers, the toes. And then as you're ready, in your own time, no rush, making your way back to where we began our practice. Seated together. If you have props, rolling to the side, moving them aside. Maybe pausing for a moment on your side before coming up to meet together. And continuing to stay connected to that breath, your inhale and exhale. And together, we close practice with 2 intentional breaths. Inhaling hands to heart center to begin. Together we inhale and exhale. And again, inhale and exhale. Thank you each for your presence here today, for showing up, for breathing together. I'm grateful for each of you. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Danielle.